fun day Sunday here at the HGC as we begin our day with the heavy hitters in HGC. That's right, our number 1 and our number 2 will be facing off. My name is Drixler. Over there we got Caldor. Caldor, you ready for the big boys to come in and play?
Definitely am. I feel dappy today.
You feel dappy today?
Yep.
You're looking pretty dappy.
I don't
Biffy.
Still don't know what it means, but I feel it.
You don't... Dappy's a good word. It's a great word.
On the fun day Sunday off.
What's it mean to you? When you say that, how do you feel? That's the question.
I feel I'm using a Drixler phrase.
Okay, so you feel great. You feel good. Let's move to the standings
That's
here.
what I was going for.
It's going to be a dappy day here at the HGC.
Don't overdo it. You got it once. Don't
As our
overdo it.
dappy teams face off, let's go ahead and check out our standings here. Number 1 at Dignitas at the very top, facing off against Team Liquid here, right behind him here with an 8-1 record.
Say the word one more time and I'll take it and kill it and it'll never be used again.
We'll work it in later. We're going to go slow here.
People will forget that it exists.
No, man, we brought it back. It's already here once again.
Dignitas versus Liquid is going to kick us off today. We have Dignitas still undefeated, but of course we're going to see another team later on too. Roll 20 with an 0-9 track record. Playing another match here today against Method, and Methods, I don't even want to say they struggled, but yeah, they struggled yesterday.
They had an off day.
They definitely had a bit of a tough time, much tougher than people expected. So Method against Roll 20 later on. Starting us off is Team Liquid versus Team Dignitas, and then North America.
That's right. No Tomorrow and Heroes Hearth Esports, and then Team Octalysis and Endemic. Endemic surprising everybody yesterday with a win over Team Freedom, and not only just a win, a decisive victory, a 3-0 over them.
Bit of a role swap, big victory there, great start for them, and not quite expected. I actually thought that Freedom would definitely make a big showing after their West
Especially what happened at Tempo Storm, because they beat them there too. And hey, I don't know what's going on over there, but the water definitely has something going on with all those teams, but they're figuring it out, and we'll continue to watch them. It certainly is fun. But let's go ahead and focus on this match coming your way. Team Dignitas and Team Liquid, the number 1 and the number 2 about to square off. Let's check in with them.
Coming up against Liquid, going back to watching their match against Granite, I would say since Granite actually had a chance, if they played a bit better, that makes us feel more confident going in against our match against Liquid. I feel like if we play like we should, it should be a 3-0 just like it was last time. I think we're really confident going into this match.
I think Dignitas is looking very strong at the moment. This team is really strong because of Wooby as a drafter. I think it's extremely hard to rely on outdrafting Wooby, and I think his drafts are enabled as well by Snitch's hero pool. I don't think any player in HGC EU comes close to Snitch in the same role. I think the series will be very tough for us, but I do think if we prepare very well and if we play confident on the day, every game will be competitive. I don't think we'll be stomped by Dig, and I think we could actually take a map off them for sure.
I'm pumped for this matchup for obvious reasons, but also because of what we saw in the last couple of weeks from Team Liquid. Granted, they were against teams that they should get victories on, but they were decisive 3-0s. Not fully spotless, had a couple of moments where it looked a little etchy, but they were able to pull it back, get the victories, and shut down their opponents, which is important to me because I've been wanting to see a team of that caliber go against Dignitas here, who has stumbled a little bit. We had Granite Gaming get a win on them, but of course they came back and showed angry Dignitas.
We're talking about also Team Liquid now with a bit of a changed role in the draft process where Arcana has now taken a much bigger responsibility. Yeah. And I can only assume that that is also what influenced their choices in maps a little bit, because I took a slight sneak peek in what was banned out here. We're going to take a closer look at that in a moment.
Spoilers.
But I am very much at a loss for words. I'm very excited to see what Team Liquid has prepared here, because I don't understand the map bans and picks at all.
Well, we're ready for the battleground. Let's go into it. Bans, Braxis Holdout, and Tomb of the Spider Queen. But in terms of picks, Team Liquid will open up with a Volskaya Foundry.
Exactly, so let me talk about this a little bit. The ban of Brexit doesn't really surprise whatsoever. Dignitas has consistently banned out the map. They banned it 8 times. This is actually the 9th time now that they banned out the map. The only one where they didn't ban it was when the team that has the first choice banned it out before they could. That's all that happened there. But now we look at Liquid. So Liquid bans out Tomb of the Spider Queen, which is, from a statistical point of view, straight up Dignitas' worst map. Dignitas has 2 losses on this map, 2 wins and 2 losses, which is incredibly bad considering that Dignitas only lost 4 maps during the entire phase and didn't even lose at the Western Clash at all. And Team Liquid on the map has 3 wins and 2 losses, so it's by no means a horrible map for them. So that you would ban that out is already a bit of a question mark, where you're like, all right, let's see where you're going with this. But then you look over at Volskaya, and I personally would have banned Volskaya within a second if I go up against Dignitas. Dignitas is 8-0 on Volskaya Foundry. They have picked the map 5 times, and Liquid just comes into this match, bans out the worst map of Dignitas, and picks the best map in the entire pool of Dignitas against them. I'm really just sitting there and I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
So you look at best numbers here and going for pure comfortable picks, right?
Yeah, but if you look over to Team Liquid, Team Liquid is at 4 wins and 3 losses on Volskaya. We talk about how they really played this map a lot better than anyone else at the beginning, but right now everyone caught up, and Team Liquid doesn't really have the hottest record here either. So this has, to me, is just signaling this is the drafting of Arcana, showing them a little bit of a different strategy, a different approach to how they are trying to play this. Because from a numbers game, just looking at the strengths of Dignitas and at the weaknesses of Dig and vice versa, this makes no sense whatsoever. So this has to be because Arcana comes in with a new game plan and says, I have a couple of ideas that I feel are going to change the way that we approach certain maps. It's the only explanation I can come up with.
What makes sense, so Thrall being banned out, Team Dignitas staying away from that triple melee that Team Liquid showcased in the last few of their matches. Blaze and Raynor gets picked up for Team Liquid, but Team Dignitas sticks with more of the same. Deckard Cain, Johanna, and Sergeant Hammer to control the point.
Yeah, one of the things that worries me a bit for Team Liquid is that the last time they played against Dignitas, they also went up against them on this map, and they actually gave Dignitas everything that Dignitas wanted, with a thought process behind it that they said, we think we can beat it. The problem is they were shut down very, very heavily early on, and I am skeptical. I am very, very skeptical if this map ban and pick pattern that they currently try out here works against Dignitas, and I'm also very skeptical that it's a good idea to give Hammer over to Dignitas on Volskaya, where they played it already a lot. Very happy to be proven wrong, though. Like, this is definitely one of those things where if they have a plan and it works out, then I'm going to be the biggest fan here. I want to see this to be competitive. But this is, I think, running a very, very big risk. If they pull it off, awesome.
I'm okay with a couple risks. I think Team Liquid even needs to pull off a few risks, because in terms of history between these two teams, Dignitas has taken the cake, 7-3. And 2 of those matches were actually the first 2 times these two faced off back in 2017. So in terms of the hot streak, Dignitas is shutting down Team Liquid when it comes to these matchups. So having a few risks here and there and try to maybe throw Dignitas off their game is one way that Team Liquid can try and approach it.
Yeah, but again, you just pick the map against them where they're 8-0.
Yeah.
That's what really throws me off. I'm happy if they're the first ones to can take down Dig, but I would have expected Team Liquid to either ban Volskaya or at least wait for Dignitas to pick Volskaya into them, because they have a couple of maps where they're actually looking pretty solid. Dragonshire, they're looking at a 4-0. Granted, Dignitas is also undefeated on the map, but still, it's a good map for Team Liquid. Would have been one to start things off. Infernal Shrines, another good map for Team Liquid. Dignitas, of course, doesn't really have any bad maps outside of Tomb, which Liquid banned out.
What's his final pickup here? Looking for support for Team Liquid. Gonna be Malfurion.
I mean, they have a nice front line again for the map. We talk about the added value of Blaze on Volskaya, and Blaze gets locked down for them. I love that we have the adjustment with the ban on Urel, even though I personally would have probably preferred Urel to be banned out a little bit earlier, even in the first rotation. Then again, do you let Genji or Maiev slide through? Probably not. If anything, it surprises me that Dignitas didn't jump on the opportunity to get Urel, since they normally prioritize her a lot higher.
Yeah.
But they were just way more focused on getting this Johanna, Hammer, and Deckard Cain set up, and that's already a bit terrifying. I mean, we've seen a similar draft from Dignitas now several times on the map, where they play extremely well around Sergeant Hammer, and now they have, for Wubi, a Malthael, which of course can really threaten Muradin in particular. So there's a lot of cool synergies that we have on the side of Team Dignitas right now. Not quite that very honed-in meta draft that we oftentimes see now these days with Diablo, Urel, and Deckard Cain, but that's mostly because Diablo was banned out, then Urel gets banned out after she isn't picked up immediately. Team Liquid even favoring Blaze over her here on the battleground, which again makes sense because of how the objective works. But interesting draft for sure, and I want to see if Team Liquid can pull it off somehow.
I mean, if they are going to be able to pull it off, it's going to come out of Junkrat. Can they find a way to make the team of Dignitas break up anyway? Can you make a Decker Kane come flying towards you? Sergeant Hammer, maybe she'll use that cleanse as quickly as possible, push her away from the fight. Junkrat is going to be the major tool for me if Team Liquid's going to get this win. But in terms of what we have here from Dignitas, we have seen this time and time again. The mouth feels a little bit of a wrench in the plans, but you can see why it's there, as you mentioned, to break up Erden, also to do well against Blaze. So I don't know. It's going to be a hard one here in game number 1.
I'm skeptical, but I also have a bit faith because ever since Arcana took over these responsibilities in drafting, he also started to prepare for matches very differently. I had a bit of a talk with him about some of the stuff, and he just said that he is now looking way more at researching opponents and also trying to figure out weaknesses. This is why this is so weird to me, because from a research perspective, you look at this and you said, you just did the opposite of what you're supposed to do, and there has to be a reason for that. And I want to see that reason, because the only other thing is, yeah, you didn't do your homework, and Arcana is just not that guy, and he showed that in the previous games that they played with him in the drafting role. He prepared very meticulously for the opponents and drafted very well around them. So there has to be something going on here where they have either a strategy prepared or a way that they rotate, maybe a couple of new timings, something that works in scrims for them. But there has to be a reason why you ban out your opponent's worst map, which is at the same time a good map for you, and you pick their best map in the first game.
Really quickly here, gonna leave this game real quick. We had a bit of a mistake there. Hi, everyone. Bam. Hi. How's it going? All right, we're gonna get this
Get out of my single shot, okay?
I think there
That's
is
my camera. You have yours now.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to intrude over there into your camera.
Invading my personal space, I don't deal with.
I mean, next time I'll ask. Oh, hang on, let me get this note. No, we do not want to enjoy this game that has no players in it.
And you created an arrow.
Waiting for game results. There are no results. Okay, now we're back in here. I think there is an element of being comfortable that Team Liquid enjoys in this battleground. As you mentioned, they have gone to this place a few times in the past. They started off with it pretty well, so I can also see that element too. I'm trying to think back to the actual losses that happened for Dignitas when it came to Team Spider Queen. One I remember was Fnatic, right? The big comeback that came from them. So maybe they look at those and say, you know what, those losses may have been flukes. We just prefer not to play on Team Spider Queen because we don't like how you can be snowballed on the map.
Yes, but again, like you have to take your winnings where you get them. Again, Dignitas lost 4 maps. If they lose 2 out of those 4 maps on Tomb, that's at least something. Hey, there's a chink in the armor.
Yeah,
maybe you can jab in there. And talking about Volskaya and how Liquid felt comfortable on that, that's true. But how long do you hold on to that comfort level if the results are not there?
Yeah.
Because again, they have a positive track record. Don't get me wrong; it's not a horrible map for them. I'm not trying to say that. They have a 4-3, but you just compare that to the best map in Dignitas' pool by far. If Liquid themselves would have, let's say, a 4-1, a 5-1, you know, like they're really good there, then they could say, okay, we lost once, it was a bit of a fluke. We know it's your best map, but it's also our best map by far, so we feel our best map meshes better than your best map. But they have other battlegrounds where they are looking a lot stronger than they're doing on Volskaya. When Volskaya came back into the meta, they were the first team to really run the item game here and played very dominant. But after everyone caught up, they had very mediocre results here.
Yeah.
But again, if they can pull it off here, then they can pull it off on any map. Maybe the thought process was just simply, listen, we have to play this map at some point anyways. If we don't ban it out, for whatever reason they didn't ban it, we want to make sure that we are actually second pick. From a strategic point, that might be what they have prepared for a second pick on Volskaya. So we pick it super early because we have to play it anyways.
Yeah.
And we want to play it from a second pick perspective. That might be a reasoning. We don't know. Only they can answer that. But at this point, it's just a bit of a question mark.
It's also helpful to come into the draft in game number 1 and know that, okay, Dignitas has been going and Sergeant Hammer often. Maybe there's something we can do to break this. And I'm hoping that Junkrat is.
Yeah, and it.
Yeah, okay, well, there's that too. Let's go ahead and move into it here. On the left side in the blue, Hasselhoff will be Junkrat, Arcaner on Raynor, Eternal on Blaze, Nurok to play Malfurion, and Sport Billy on Murd.
And to the right side of the map, the Giants in Europe. We have Team Dignitas with Whoopi on Malthael on the solo lane, a Snitch currently rocking Phoenix for the auto attacks. Poik in this game. Playing Sergeant Hammer with JPL on Johanna, and Deckard Kane played by Zelia.
Zelia, wonderful support player. Got a few white main wins in here at the HGC. Showing off that clemencing build, but we're going to keep an eye on Poik. Poik is pretty much the anchor / foundation for Team Dignitas when they're running a Sergeant Hammer composition. It's all about protecting him. making sure that he's safe. Some teams have been trying to jump on top of Snitch because it's so hard to actually take out Hammer, and it's worked out a few times for some teams, but still hasn't netted anyone a major win.
Yeah, especially the level 4 on Hammer is just such a fantastic defensive tool, and it really makes her so incredibly resilient to any kind of approach through a CC and through attempted stuns. That's definitely one of those talents. If you would tweak that and you would make it worse or just simply remove it, all of a sudden Hammer's prowess and position in the meta would, with 1 second, immediately disappear.
Yeah. It's getting to that point where I'm actually wondering when that is going to be coming in and in what fashion that's going to be changed. Will they take 2 talents and put it onto the similar tier? Because you also get that hover siege as well at 7,
Yeah.
which makes it so hard for you to take out a hero that is designed to be immobile.
Absolutely.
Now she has the ability to be able to get out your CC and, of course, move slightly.
Like, the level 4 and level 7 talent really are the reason why Hammer is currently so dominant in the meta. And I think if you would, for example, move, even if you don't remove the talent, if you just move its position, or you put, as you said, 2 on the same talent tier, that would have an immediate impact on the amount of play that we see for Sergeant Hammer. Even just moving the level 4 talent with the Unstoppable back to 13, 16 would immediately cause Hammer to be way more vulnerable in the early game, and then he can play around that. But I mean, that's balance questions that the balance team at some point has to answer if they're really concerned about it. For now, it's definitely one of the greatest assets that Sergeant Hammer has, and makes her, of course, very resilient in these fights whenever Muradin or, let's say, Blaze try to go in with a Jet Propulsion or Storm Ball to set that CC chain up.
Speaking of Muradin, he is proccing to the 3rd win at level 1, and something that he needed to consider too, especially when we go to the late game. You have both Sergeant Hammer with Giant Killer at 16 and then Malthael, who naturally will put a hefty amount of damage onto you, especially if you dive too far to get towards that Sergeant Hammer. So he wants to be able to back up, get the healing, and come back into the fight later on. So good adjustment there, but we've been seeing a lot of Muradins actually this weekend. I think we've only had 1 Perfect Storm picked up by Mopsio. The rest have all been mostly 3rd wins.
Yeah, it depends very much on what kind of game you're trying to play with your composition, and also what kind of setup you are up against. And now we're having the item game being played here with the Biotic Emitter not taken, actually. So we really oftentimes see this engage happen, and then one team taking a big lead to getting a kill, and then also the healing pulse. But right now, both of our teams in this first game aren't really willing to commit to it yet. We have the turrets taken earlier, but now it's all about the first objective and the control point.
Yeah, just keep an eye on the support camp, waiting for your opponents to make the first move, and then, of course, you'll rotate it and cause an issue. Nonetheless, though, we already have Team Dignitas grabbing the control point. You'll have Sport Billy come in here and buy as much time as possible, but you see the issue here. Poik, with Decker Kane just providing the heals and giving that instant shield because of his level 4 talent, makes it incredibly difficult for Team Liquid to break this without any major damage.
And Billy was already in a position where he was trying to hold on to the point for as long as he could, but he can only take so much of a punishment, even as Muradin, before he has to hop out there. Now, there is some top lane pressure now in favor of Liquid that Dignitas will have to react to eventually, since Junkrat is pushing through, and Snitch is the one who's starting to make that rotation. But it means that Liquid will have to now make a play for that point if they don't want to lose out on the Punisher. Junkrat rotates in, as Phoenix shows top lane, and this is the moment when you're trying to break through.
Yeah, they would really like to have Blaze come in here with Sport Billy at the same time to try and break down Poik, but he's being pushed into the bottom lane due to Malthael, just really clearing out that wave, and of course getting some damage on him too. So they have this 4-on-3, but you just see the prowess, how strong Sergeant Hammer can be by herself, with Johanna, a hero that can get out of the fight thanks to Iron Skin controlling the front line, and Zilly just constantly providing the heals.
Yeah, especially since both of those power spikes, the level 4 and the level 7, are also ready for Poik. It makes it so difficult for Team Liquid to engage into this. This is one of the main reasons why we see so many Hammer bans these days on particularly Volskaya Foundry. Team Liquid is still able to push them back for now, but it's already at 99%, so Dignitas is just chilling, taking their own second turret.
Yeah.
Liquid is responding in kind, but this is all about Dignitas just resetting and then re-engaging. They are 99% already, they know they got some time, and then they can focus on the proper approach here once more.
Yeah, Dignitas did not have to spin their turret at all, so they're going to have the second one, but the same is true for Team Liquid. They didn't use their turret as well, so they can now make the play to try and break it down. Nerok steps in, goes in for a root, Poik gets knocked on the back right, while Snitch sits on the top side. It works any damage where he can.
Yeah, Johanna, of course, with those blinds against Rain are also a huge factor right now to keep everyone safe. And you can tell how Liquid is taking a beating here. They are really getting punished, and they have to give out the Protector. Dignitas is half a level ahead already. And now we're seeing Dignitas moving through the mid lane, trying to just snowball that experience advantage that they already hold.
Yep. They're going for option A when you have the protector, which is take down that front wall and then rotate to the top and go for the well. Option B lately has been trying to go for the entire fort and attempt to take that out and get that big experience jump. But with Dignitas already having a lead, they don't have to really try to force the issue here. They're just going to go for the safe play, the typical play that you see when it comes to having the protector.
Dignitas is already half a level away from level 10.
Narok?
And they are taking down Norakid 2 and Malfurion. This is a disaster for Liquid. There's going to be level 10 any moment now, and that would allow Dignitas to dive in very deep and go even for a second fort in the mid lane. That Protector is still ready for another 17 seconds after taking out a fort at the top lane. That in itself is crazy. You're up against heroic abilities. Liquid is getting absolutely demolished right now.
Thinking about heroics here, Deku Kane hasn't picked his 10 here. Do you think this is a stay a while and listen, or is this a Lornado type of pick?
Stay away and listen would be really good. I mean, you can again make the argument in both ways, right?
Yeah.
So it's no matter what, you have a great setup here. I feel the Lornado gives a little bit more opportunity to create a play, especially against Reyna with the lack of mobility that he has. But also it allows you to keep Sergeant Hammer safe. But I mean, yeah, look at this. Liquid is so far behind that again they're losing item control because Dignitas has heroic abilities already. I could have seen Dignitas even pressuring the mid lane a lot harder and trying to take down that fort, dive behind it and see if they maybe can get a kill. But no matter what, we have a 1.5 to 2 level lead for Dignitas at this point, which is brutal on this map. That means they're definitely going to get level 13 first. Means they have a great access towards the second objective, and they can play the item game again. Already trying to look for another kill here.
Going straight on top of Sport Billy, dropping that last ride, so BFG didn't fully connect with them, so we didn't get fall down, but we do have the bunker coming out from Infernal. So Sport Billy is able to survive, so Team Liquid dances, but they walk away from the fight hurt. But the same can be said for Dignitas. Look at Poik. He actually took a bit of damage in that fight as well.
It just never felt that Dignitas was under pressure in the fight. You are right, Poik was getting a bit low, but it felt all the aggression came from Dignitas, and that Team Liquid just tried to play really reactive to not lose someone. And they did it well. Like, bunker timing was perfect to negate the last rides of Malthael, and then we had also the salvo, a lot of it negated here, so Liquid definitely playing a great defensive game, but it didn't feel to me as if Dignitas in that moment felt any pressure or was endangered in any way. And Liquid has to create that moment at some point. And that might come with the next talent here for them, with the next objective, but they definitely have to find some momentum because, I mean, let's face it, if they don't win the next Protector, they are going to be in a lot of trouble. They already are. But if they lose the next Protector, they might be way too far behind to ever recover here on the map.
Yeah, they would like to swing the game back into their favor, but it is still difficult. Look at Dignitas. They hit 13, they group up immediately on top of this fort, and they intend to take this fort for experience.
And also, if you look at the kill count again, it's single kill. That's all that happened.
Just one.
And that kill came off the first Protector. So it's not like they did it before. It's just they have this massive position that is incredibly difficult to break through on the objective, where Johanna shields for the damage dealers, and it's very difficult to approach that. And here they come again. BFG goes in. Already the salvo damage. Billy nearly going down. The Riptide eliminated. Bunker is being used here. Billy on the retreat is able to walk away from this, but Liquid again is just running. They're only reacting. They cannot get any pressure onto Dignitas.
The same thoughts that were echoed in the first game are echoed here too, where we had the fight that broke out and it felt like Team Dignitas just wasn't in any pressure to actually fall victim to Team Liquid. They just don't have the immediate answer to get on top of anyone here. And if they do move up, Malthael's waiting. He is so ready to drop down this cleaves, bring in the last rights.
I mean, let's talk a little bit about talents here. How do you engage if you're Liquid? You're trying to set up a Stormbolt or Jet Propulsion, as we talked about earlier. Maybe with Junkrat, where he ever has a good concussion grenade, you're trying to isolate someone. There's an inevitable end now on Malthael. That makes it incredibly difficult to get onto him. We have the Lornado to create space. Johanna has Iron Skin ready. Poik on Sergeant Hammer has, with his level 4 talent, obviously also another self-cleanse with the siege tactics. There aren't really any good targets for Liquid. They have to bait out. Okay, here comes the inevitable end. They have to bait that out. And now they can, in the second attempt, try and take the hero down. But it is very difficult for Team Liquid to make any of these plays.
The answer could be Phoenix. If you can find a way to get on Snitch, big hitbox allows for you to be able to lock him down. You have to play around that Lornado.
Yeah.
But the point still stands. It is difficult for you to break into this. That's always how it is with most Sergeant Hammer compositions, of why you see her banned out. Team Liquid is taking what they can while Team Dignitas does back up and goes for that double soak to build towards 16.
And Dignitas just like topped up at the fountain, has pre-tapped, and is now starting to move straight into the point again. And Liquid is somehow trying to hold on to it, but already Poik is doing so much work. JPL is just babysitting Hammer the entire time. Here comes the setup. BFG is in. The attempt of Malthael with the last rights forces out the bunker. Nice dodge on Liquid's side. But the point still holds, at least for now.
It was heroics used though. Team Liquid survived. They get some damage on top of Sergeant Hammer on the right side, but that allows for them to maybe look over to Wubby. But Wubby is just getting the free auto attacks, and Scorpilly can't contest him, and Team Liquid just has to back up.
They have no Tranquility anymore. With Tranquility, they can go into that fight, but without it, they're just getting poked down. And Dignitas is using the superior item game to just use a Biotic Emitter and keep themselves alive. Now making the play for the next Biotic Emitter. Liquid is going to be too late in the rotation to even contest that. And if you just look at the experience, Dignitas is also on the way to level 16. So this is Protector number 2. And it's a disaster for Liquid. They just have no way of approaching this.
It's almost like Dignitas is undefeated on this map.
Yeah, it's
almost like that.
It's almost like Dignitas has an 8-0 track record on Volskaya Foundry, which makes it a pretty bad map to pick against them.
Dignitas groups up to the top lane, and it even gets worse here. Giant Killer comes online for Sergeant Hammer. You've had Murden struggling already to find a way to get into the middle of this team composition. That is about to become even more difficult, as this keep just gets easily taken by Dignitas.
And that of course means that when we're talking about objective number 3, which will spawn at the bottom of the map, there is going to be constant pressure on the other side of the map, with Team Liquid not running a global in this game. Going to make it very, very difficult.
Keep wall, next target. We will have the Protector get cleaned up. So at least Team Liquid still has 2 keeps here, but they're going to have to deal with that kind of pressure, as you were just mentioning. And no globals can make that hard. But they are building towards their 16. And it's getting to a point where they have one more team fight, it feels like, before this game is over.
Do they have that team fight though?
One level away from 16, you get Dwarf Toss and you say, all right, I'm going in. Follow me up.
Yeah, maybe.
Come with me if you want to live. We may all die. But we got this.
All right. Hold your horses, Mr. Connor. No, the thing is, the reason why I asked the question is, Liquid, or Dignitas is taking the item game now, right? So you are on level 18. You can literally just try and play 420 at this point, try and get more structures. But even if you don't actually get the Storm Talent, if you fight, you have how many items now? 3. It's a double turret, it's a Biotic Emitter. I'm not quite sure if Phoenix is holding something. Phoenix actually takes the camp on the right side. So from that perspective alone, through the stats advantage that you get with the extra levels and the added items, taking any fight, even on even talents, is gonna come at a disadvantage for Team Liquid. Any team fight they take, no matter if they have the same talents or not.
You are 195% correct. But at the same time, you're slowly being bled out.
Oh no, Liquid, don't get me wrong. Liquid has to do it.
Yeah.
They have to take a fight. The thing is, Dignitas doesn't.
Yeah.
Dignitas can just sit there and wait now. It being Dignitas, they probably won't. They probably will look for an advantage and then try to take that fight through the item pressure. But they could literally just sit there and wait for that one level of experience. Have Hammer at the bot lane, as they're doing right now. Try and take that forward. That is going to make it even faster for you to hit the Storm Talons. But Liquid are the ones that are under pressure now. Liquid has to make the move, and Sport Billy jumps in. Stormbolt is there, but the rotation isn't happening as the mid lane is currently busy attacking Johanna.
Yep, Blaze and Rainer were trying to get Johanna low. She took a tad bit of damage, but popped her Iron Skin and backed up. Team Dignitas not too worried about that, realizing multiple members were in the middle lane. They just turn around and take out the fort. Sport Billy Dortos is in, and he's looking for that Stormbolt. He's starting to fish, but does not connect. Gets nothing today.
Liquid has to flip the switch soon. They need to go in. They need to force a fight before 20. It's only going to get worse from here on out. It's not going to get any better. There's the attempt to go for Malthael, and they get him.
There you go.
Malthael goes down, but counter kills potentially. Bunker burned down as is. Billy gets out barely, but Blaze is not quite so lucky. He dies. And now we're still in that situation where Liquid is far behind, and Dignitas is closer and closer to level 20.
Team Liquid may have to take this fight. Sport Billy's waiting for a little bit of health here, waiting for that third wave to pop in. He jumps in straight for Sergeant Hammer, drops the Stormbolt, but immediately Cleanse comes out from Poik himself, able to get away. And Johanna will hold that front line. Tranquility used, Team Liquid wanting to commit to this fight. Team Dignitas sees the Tranquility and is back up and siege away.
And Team Liquid is losing the shields on their core now too, because there's a camp pushing through the top lane with the help of a few catapults. Control point gets announced, Dignitas grabs the biotic emitter, so now they are holding on again to one strong item. They make the rotation to the bottom left, very likely to invade Team Liquid's camp now to grab another turret for themselves. JPL gets the experience in the mid lane, which helps them towards the Storm Talons. Billy can't really engage here. He's doing it, he's trying it, but there's the immediate counterpart. Giant Killer is ready for Sergeant Hammer, and it definitely shows.
Johanna gets thrown in the fight, but that's the target that you really want to pick off. But New York has 4 Billy already backing up. Team Liquid cannot continue this fight. Poik hovers forward. Slowly but surely finds a couple of auto attacks, and they will be able to grab the turret. Team Dignitas will now turn their attention towards the bottom lane, and they can start working on that control point.
Yeah, going straight for this, and already Dig is preparing to finish the game. They're currently trying to just drop the wall as fast as they can. Johanna, by the way, with a very nice positioning here, trying to actually reach that bush. Doesn't quite get there before Liquid is there, but the idea is, of course, always to anchor the play and create safety for Sergeant Hammer. And now with the 2.5 level lead, the Storm Talons that we see for Team Dignitas, Liquid is just in a horrible spot here and desperately trying to find something. They're attempting to get the item just so that they have 2 turrets that they can try and use in the last fight that they're going to get this game.
Do you think they're discussing the next draft already?
I don't want to sound like an ass, but at this point they really might as well.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how you engage this. If Dignitas, if you can flank them and somehow get a quick kill against someone because Dignitas is out of position, you might be able to defend this and turn around. But the problem is that there is just no way. You can't soak to 20 and defend with level 20 talents. You're too far away from that too. You can't approach the Protector because Dignitas is set up too well. This game, just from start to finish, has never given Team Liquid a single angle to exploit that they were looking for. That draft is simply not working out against this Hammer composition that Dignitas is playing. There's too much zoning abilities for Dignitas through Deck Arcane, protection for Sergeant Hammer and Johanna at the front line, with the added blinds against particularly Reyna, who just doesn't have that impact that he normally wants to have here.
Dignitas can now make a move for the core. They wanted to grab it before level 20 connects. They're going to slowly siege down this keep, playing off of the cooldowns of the Protector.
Reyna has 28,000 damage. That is nothing. We have Junkrat with 44,000. We're seeing on the other side, Phoenix has 28k, Sergeant Hammer 71,000. But Reyna just doesn't get the damage out that he wants because he's constantly blinded. There we see it again, and he doesn't get the damage in. BFG forces him back, the auto attacks of Poik are there, and Dignitas is just not giving Liquid any openings.
Poor Billy was trying to buy some time on the back left, but it is time for Dignitas to make the play. They step up and go straight for the core, and they're working on the shields. Poor Billy jumps back in. He's low on health, but he knows he has to defend against his hammer. JPL's got low on health, but Indestructible will pop.
Yeah, and of course the shields are now gone. They're going for it. Liquid is faring a bit better than expected here, though, with the defense attempt. And they're trying to go for Hammer again, but you can already see how much they're struggling here. The core is down to 50%. Murden goes down, and he is only the first one. The core very soon to fall. Eternal even getting bodied by the Lornado, and then Poik takes him apart. And that is going to be game 5 kills against 2. And Team Dignitas takes victory on game number 1.
Ban Hammer, my dudes.
Now again, I personally have a lot of respect for Arcana. I think he is not only an incredible player on the mechanical side, but Arcana is also someone who has a very good mindset, and just the way that he thinks about the game is just absolutely respectable, and he normally has very good ideas coming in. His preparation showed in the previous games that they played a lot, so I am 100% certain he had a game plan coming into this. It's just that whatever the game plan was, it wasn't good.